I have a little project here that was on my to-do list that came from my wife. She happens to like a drink called a mojito, which you use fresh mint and the leaves should be bruised. She's getting tired of using the handle on a wooden spoon and asked me to make her what she calls a mulling stick, which would be very similar to a pestle. Very simple little project. The only dimension that I really had was to make it long enough that it would reach into her glass, and what more could I ask? I've chosen a piece of hard maple, nice straight grain, roughly 9.5 inches long and 1 3/16 inches square. So we're just going to chuck it up and kind of wing it to make it look the best we can. Okay, what I'm going to do is take my spindle roughing gouge and reduce this to a diameter. Now then the ends, I'm going to start to make the ends so I know where I'm at, so my eye can start distinguishing what I want. I want to bring this back far enough that I don't have the point from the live center in it. Just kind of making sure that I make it long enough. Now I can go back and do a little flare on it here, that I can see what my parameters are. Make sure that it doesn't vibrate too much here. I just want it to look kind of nice. Something that would fit the hand. I think it's still too heavy. And I really don't have this end cleaned up yet, so I'll finish that off too. I think it's time to go to a skew. This will give us a much nicer finish. The only thing that we're accomplishing here is making it look good to the eye. If you're going to make something, you might as well make it look the best that you can. I'm going to take and make a nice cut on here so that it doesn't interfere with the hand. Make sure the other end is pretty good. And I think we're ready to sand. I sanded this out to 600. I wanted to keep it nice and smooth, seeing how it's going to be used as a tool. Now I want to work my ends a little bit more before I cut them off. Okay, I'm going to finish this end up closer than what I have it right now. Going in and making room for my tool. Just want to make it as smooth as I can make it. Now I'm going to go to the other end. Now I'm going to do the same thing down here. Clean out some of it to give myself room for the tool to work, and to make a nice even cut across it. Yeah, I don't have much holding it. Before I cut them off, I am going to sand those ends just a little bit to make it easy on myself. Break any sharp edges. I like sharp edges, but I don't want them to hurt anybody. Now I'm going to take my skew, and on the tailstock end, I'm going to reduce that even more. The reason I'm doing it on the tailstock first, it's being driven from the other end. Okay, it's down there where there's not much holding it. I'm going to go down to the opposite end and do the same thing. Now, I'm not going to cut it all the way off, but I will take it out. Back to my trusty pocket knife. That keeps it from tearing it out if I cut it off. I have sanded off the ends by hand, and they're nice and clean. I'm not going to put any finish on this on account of it's just going to be used as bruising leaves, or whatever you want to call that. But anyway, if your wife or one of your friends likes a mint julep or a mojito or one of those, a nice little present for her.